you know, on the flip side, you know, fast forward a little bit to well, it's kind of aligned with your life. Like I see you got the crystals and things on right now, and you know, we kind of spoke about this, but you see people like Kevin Gates, you know, just like other celebrities. I think even with SZA and stuff like that, kind of highlighting it as far as like the spirituality and stuff like that. What made you get into that, and when exactly did you start?
Well, I feel like it was always really a part of who I was. Like even Chingy will tell you, like, you know.
Chingy also.
Yeah, same with him. Like he'll tell you, like when we were working on Jackpot, the album, when we were staying in U City in the apartment, me and Chingy would talk about the universe, lives on other planets, other dimensions, all type of stuff. Even back then, it's just that I wasn't really that comfortable enough to be out with at that time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, as far as how it is now. So it's always been a part of who I was. Like I've always been this person and felt this way. But it wasn't until like 2008 and 2009 till I went through like a full transformation of, you know, spiritual awakening to start going in a different direction, you know what I'm saying, as far as knowledge, consciousness, and all of these particular things. So once again, it was something that Chingy felt. It was something I felt, Zoe felt, because like Zoe's sister, Lisa, she was on a frequency spiritually. So it always been who I was, and I've always had a connection around it. But like I said, like, I didn't really come out like really sharing it on Facebook and like really exposing myself with it to around 2008, and that's when I started getting hit hard with going through my spiritual awakening. You know, as the shift, I call it. Like things are shifting. You see Kevin Gates, you see Omarion, Mario. I can keep going. Chris Brown even sharing pictures of the chakras and certain things. So I think collectively as a whole, people are just starting to wake up. I even seen something with Youngboy the other day had something positive to say, like things are reaching people, where people are shifting.
You have to stop the violence.
Stop the violence, where even what you're seeing with Kyrie and Kanye, you're seeing a shift. So I think a lot of us always felt it, but it just wasn't the time for us to like make a full transformation into who we are, to who you see right now. You know what I'm saying, type of thing. So like I said, it was we always been in it, but it just, you know, people didn't get a chance to see it until we got a little exposure to put it out there.
Gotcha. It's definitely a shift, because myself personally, I have went through that shift where, you know, people get to, you know, distancing themselves from you. They think, oh, this what they dude on, he crazy or something like that, like type of weird stuff he on. But you waking up, and then in a sense, it's kind of a good thing in a sense. You're getting, I guess, bad energies away from whatever you want to call it. Like people who don't align with your purpose in life. That's how I look at it.
No, exactly. And it's funny you said the crazy thing, because when I first started putting it out on Facebook and social media, it was at a time when nobody was really doing it. Like it was kind of still fresh. Like you didn't see it how you see it today. Mm-hmm. So that's when I kind of started, like me and Zoe never really broke up at that time, but we just started parting ways a little bit, because I started going more down the spiritual path, and it started kind of to separate things a little bit. So I went on my path, Zoe went on this path. We all were still cool. We had never split up at that time. And I hadn't seen Chingy in a couple of years. And he reached out to me, and we went out to dinner. And me and him was sitting down having a conversation, and he was like, man, people saying you crazy out here, bro. I said, that's what they saying about me? He was like, yeah, people, he was like, I was thinking to pick you up and you was talking to yourself. So I'm like, they acting like I'm walking around talking to myself, or I done went damn crazy or something. And Chingy was like, I obviously see there's nothing wrong with you. You just way more intelligent and on a higher frequency than you was at the time. So it's crazy to me how people will take intelligence out of a certain frequency you in, and then when you start changing, they'll think that you're crazy because you're not doing the same thing they doing. Because I kind of got offended a little bit. I'm like, well, so what people think, man? I'm just like Sham walking down Lucas and Hunt, talking to himself with his shirt off. Like, what people think? But Chingy was like, you know how it is. Like when you start leveling up on spirituality or changing, then people are going to associate that, oh, this nigga crazy because he not doing what you do. Same thing I see people saying about Kevin Gates now. Same thing I see people saying about a lot of these people. XX Extension. People didn't understand what he was on when he was talking about the hertz and the frequencies of music, on how the frequency affects the chakras. That's a super real thing.
That's a real thing. Like that can disrupt your inner why. I make sure I make it important that I don't, when I'm dropping my kids off at school, I turn the music off. It ain't gonna be no rap, I ain't have no disrespect to the local radio station, but I'm turning it down in the morning. I'm not ran to school when my kids ain't hearing that stuff before they go to school. Or just before they go to sleep or anything, anything that depicts your day. You can't, first thing you listen to or before you go to sleep, but you I guess downloading in a sense before you go to sleep, it affects your next day or whatever. You gotta make sure. That's why I try to read something before I go to sleep. You know, and
subconscious.
Yeah.
Listen to your subconscious.
Yeah, that stuff it definitely messes with your vibration, your frequency, whatever you want to call it, your aura. It changes your mood, all of that. Music is like one of the most powerful things in the world. Like as far as like with the propagandas, with the videos, all that stuff. Yeah,
I remember I did an interview with no, it wasn't. I'll take that back. It wasn't an interview. It was a program I did called Dynasty Hip Hop with the Nation of Islam, and I would go around to these like different schools and things that they have for me teaching, kids that came from the city that needed guidance. And one of the things that I would teach about was how even before people heard Kanye say it back then, I was teaching about how that the music, the frequency of it affect your chakras, and Kanye was actually right about that. To where that's why when a cat listens to like if you're doing a drive-by or something, you might be playing something with bass. You ain't finna do a drive-by listening to Taylor Swift or Katy Perry, because the hertz, and that's what XXXTentacion would talk about, is that the hertz are vibrating on different frequencies. And if you notice, a lot of the trap music is slow, the bass, you know what I'm saying, it's real melodic, and it's getting into your subconscious mind. And then you got pop music like, Katy Perry, last Friday night, in the club. Like, how you gonna be mad at somebody listening to that type of music? So you're absolutely right, where it affects your vibration and frequency down to your lower chakra, and that's what Kanye was saying. That 808, the energy of the music, and like even when we did Chingy, it was all up tempo right there. Holiday Inn, One Call Away, like everything was up, the frequency of the music. So that Hertz thing, and I got to give credit to XXXTentacion, rest in peace, man. Like he was onto something with that. Like he was really exposing that Hertz thing. He was, if you go back and look at his old videos, he was going hard in that. And that's a real thing that people know about, and it definitely is affecting us. Some people would disagree, but I'm one of them people that disagree, that it do affect us. Like somebody would be like, nah, because this one girl was telling me, she was like, I disagree with you, Sham. That's white supremacy. It's the product of your environment. And she tried to turn it into a race thing. But I was like, I disagree with you, because what about when the rock and roll era was in? I said, remember when the heavy metal era was in? And you had these rock bands that, you know what I'm saying, like Metallica and these like super hardcore rock people, that a lot of these kids were like Satan worshiping and cutting off, pig's head and doing all type of crazy stuff. And that you see, they caught on to that, and they made a conscious effort. Now this ain't got nothing to do with no black people. The white people that was running that made a conscious effort to push metal underground. What metal band are you really hear now? You got Green Day, and these ain't even metal bands, but you got like these more type of alternative type of rock bands. But where's the Metallica at? Ozzy Osbourne. Where's these like super underground, because they knew it was affecting them, and they pushed it and spent it to another narrative. So that's real.